History repeats itself for Sentinels as EG take them in a dominant win, 13-6 on Fracture, now sitting 1-0 up in the series. Welcome back to VCT Americas. I'm Mimi, joined again by BCJ and Mel. And Mel, the start to this series, we were expecting it to be close, but really it was dominant from Evil Geniuses.
This is honestly an incredible start by EG. I don't think any of us were expecting this, and I'm meaning that in like the best way possible. We were really expecting that close engagement with Sentinels and EG, but EG just looks so clean. All of their retakes look so coordinated. Ethan, especially, his util from the beginning was impeccable.
The first half, really, it was what, like 6 out of 9 of those retakes that they managed to win? It looked great from EG.
Yeah, and I mean, take a look at those post plants. This is exactly what I was talking about in the pre-show. You get the bomb down 6 times, you win 4 of them. That's a great percentage. Meanwhile, looking at Sentinels, they got the bomb down 9 times, and we're only able to close out 3 of those rounds. I mean, that's tough.
That's brutal. And the game plan for EG was working as well. You had this round that you wanted to chat about with this Sova comp, BCJ.
Yeah, so you usually see this on a pistol round strat, but here it is on a kind of like a bonus. They're going to decide to drone through the door and just crunch topside, crunch bridge, and I mean, crunch spawn, right? And that's just such a dangerous play if you're not ready for it. And looks like they weren't ready here, and it caught them off guard. And that's going to be what you're looking to do in those bonus rounds.
I love how EG, the 2 players in spawn, were playing their lives, and that's stuff you just don't see on the scoreboard. They were holding Sentinels there for like 20 seconds while their teammates came back through B main to flank on the post plant, or on the retake rather.
And that's what got the momentum going for EG. But Sentinels, it took them a really long time to rally back in that first half. It really seemed like at one point, BCJ, that they might have just been boomed, like they were just going to get rolled over. They did get a few rounds right at the end, but it was really brutal.
Yeah, it was looking really tough from the get-go, but I think one of the biggest players that we were looking for was Jaw, and I think he really stepped up on the raise. That was something I was really impressed with. I mean, you look at these numbers; these are just top of the world superstar raise numbers.
I think it's really easy for Jawjamo to get overshadowed now that they've got Demon 1 in these jet maps and he takes over. But now that we're seeing like these Raze maps finally get played out by EG, people have forgotten how dominant and how good he was at Raze. And I mean, here it is. Look at this movement. He landed on top of top site on the corner and cleared Marv's when Marv had such a power position to make a play. And his movement is just so clean to watch, and his Raze ults, his util, he's got everything you want in a Raze main.
I feel like he might be the best North American Raze player. Like, he's just so consistently good whenever he plays this agent, either back with old BG or this year as well when he gets those opportunities. It's really, really good stuff out of him. But another guy who was having a great game for the side of EG and who we were talking about in the pre-show as being kind of an emotional leader, helping out with the mid-rounding, is Ethan. And we're going to take a look at him warming up for map number 2 in our AIM Lab shoot-around. BCJ, this guy had another stellar performance on that breach roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear why they won map 1. I mean, look at this AIM Lab score. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. Hashtag AIM Labs, hashtag ad, sponsor me. But yeah, so basically, I mean, look at those shots. But no, Ethan is a all-around one of their best players. He's one of the most confident players as well, if you get to talk to them. And he's definitely vocal as well. So in and out of the server, he's going to be the most impactful player for me. If he is clicking, they are going to be so much better with him.
It can't be understated how hard it is, too, to not only be like fragging, but also having that strong vocal and mid-round voice for them and being that anchor emotionally for the team. It just cannot be understated how difficult that is, and not only to finish it out in like a 13-6 fashion on top of that.
Could either of you guys beat this guy named Law?
Ooh, 1v1 me, bro.
1v1 him? You think you take that? You think you clear?
1v1 me, bro. We'll put up some money. We'll make it fun.
We'll take a look at that one, but it's good work out of him. And for EG, this puts him in a really good spot now, because map number 2 of the series, it's not their choice, but it is Pearl, which we were discussing as one that was quite strong for the squad.
Now, surely this is the map that gets close, right? Surely this is the one where I've been hyping it up. This is the close one, right?
Let's not jinx it now. Let's not jinx it. But yeah, no, Pearl is an exciting map for both teams. I think we talked about how Marv on Viper really slots in really well. I still think that that's probably his best role in the lurk.
What do we think about the compositions? Because EG has been cooking on this one. They pulled out that crazy Gecko comp to start with, then moved away from it, have tried the more normal Harbor of Viper variants. Last time they played this against Loud, they did this interesting like Fade Sky comp that just didn't get much value since they got 13-0'd. Which direction do you think they had?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a major change. I think this is something that, I mean, you get 13-0'd, anyone gets 13-0'd. You're going to make changes, and especially seeing it left open in this series, expect big changes, expect composition to feel more comfortable to the players. I think we might see a Jet come out here.
I mean, that would be a good role for Demon 1 to slot into. He's looked so confident on the maps where he does play that Jet.
I mean, that roster change was honestly mostly motivated by the fact that they really wanted this strong jet player, which, by the way, I think Jawjimo is still an incredible jet, but Demon One definitely brings some prowess to the server when it comes to having insane knives rounds, and there's a lot of rounds where they really depend on him on maps where he plays jet to have those pop-offs. So I think a lot of it relies on him and if whether or not he shows up today.
Well, let's flip our perspective over to the other squad in the server in Sentinels, because that is a brutal map one to lose. And it's coming off now 3 dominant map losses in a row after their series last week. What do you guys think can bring them back into this? Because it feels like as a player, that's got to be pretty tough on your mental to lose another game like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sentinels, you're going to look at this and say, listen, guys, they didn't have a strong showing on Pearl. This is going to be a map that, we think we can take. We look pretty good on this. I think they had a 13-6 victory against one of the teams in the last couple of weeks. They're looking confident. I think you just got to regain that mental. Someone on that team's got to say, hey, look at what it is. It's a best of 2. You know what I mean? We got 2 more maps left. We should feel good on Pearl. Let's get our confidence back on this map.
I mean, the fact still stands. They did 13-6 Loud, if I'm not mistaken, on this map, and Loud proceeded to 13-0 EG. So Sentinels, like you said, they need to have like a goldfish memory right now. Forget the first map. It's a BO2. This is where we make our stand, and this is where we stake our spear in the field.
On the other side, though, for EG, this is just a continuation of the confidence. You upset Leviathan last week. Now you win a dominant map over Sentinels. This team honestly looks kind of unstoppable right now. That's going to be really difficult to shut that down.
I think there might be a chance, and you could speak to this, BCJ, too, of is EG going to overheat a little bit here? We have seen it before where they did take a map off of Loud before. It was looking good. They were looking poised to take the 2-0, but it seemed like, I'm not sure if it was nerves or, I mean, those anti-ecos it gets them in that second map versus Loud. Do you think it's possible here that these boys, maybe a little inexperienced, can pull through for this
It's always possible. It's always hard to tell, but I think the biggest thing going for EG right now is the momentum. I think it's a very underrated factor in this game, how dominant momentum can be. No matter what score lines both of these teams have had in the past on Pearl, if one team's coming out shooting lights out, it's going to be hard to beat them. So
it can be difficult.
If EG comes out shooting straight and they win, this pistol, I think it could spiral out of control.
There's a big chance of it. But just to give you folks at home a quick update, there's some audio issues on the stage that the admins are currently trying to sort out. So we do have a brief delay getting into map number 2, but we'll get you folks into that as soon as possible. To talk a little bit more about this, for Sentinels, what we've discussed with them a lot is kind of the puggier style, with them coming in with a new player, with Marv. That really worked for them, even against Loud, with Marv getting a lot of value on the lurks in that map. But in map number 1, I don't think we saw those same gaps being exploited.
I think it was because, too, that they were crunching together and they were playing really grouped up on the defense together. And I think, honestly, going to this next map, I was thinking that if Sentinels don't get a hard start here, it's going to be really defeating.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm really looking at the roles here for Sentinels. I think their roles have kind of been defined a little bit better now that Zekin is able to play the duelist. I know he's primarily the Raze player, but that is a big thing for them, is to really solidify, hey, you're going to play the similar agents on every map, no matter what. You can really hone in on what you need to work on.
Well, we're almost getting into the match here. It looks like that issue is just finishing being sorted out. So let's talk about the agent select. We were discussing a little bit earlier, but for Sentinels, they've been playing the pretty standard Harbor Viper comp. What does EG go to? Already, it's that Jet for Demon 1 mount.
Yeah, it's the Jet I said was going to come out. I think Demon 1 with the op is just, you've seen it on other teams on this map. It's just dominant. I expect them to probably play something along the Harbor Viper line. It seems like they're going to try to change that up.
Be interesting to see what they cook up, honestly. From the sky, they have Jaw on the harbor. It's looking pretty standard so far. They're not going back to their Gecko roots or anything, which is a good thing to see. For Sentinels, they have the harbor. It's looking pretty standard so far with Zekin on the Jet.
How do you guys feel about Jaw on the harbor? He just switched off the Raze, which you were giving him a lot of props for. This is still a very new role to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge role swap. Not only is that, going to be hard on him, but it's going to be hard on, the team as well. It's a totally different shift. The duelist player now has to step up. That's going to be Demon 1. We're going to be looking at him to be more vocal in the mid-round and the pre-round. Where does he want to go with the op? Where does he want to get active?
We'll have to see how proactive he can be in this matchup, because it will be a head-to-head between those two compositions, Harbor Viper versus Harbor Viper. It's Sentinels on the ropes, down 1 in the series. We'll have to see if they can rebound here on Pearl as we send it back over to your casters. It's Vans and Riv.
Thank you, Meebs. Yes, indeed. We're going into Pearl this time around, and yeah, I do like actually the changes. I mean, it's still Americom. Nothing's really changed in the past few weeks, but there has been a shift from playing a Raze as duelist, moving into a Jet now for both of these teams, and I kind of like it when you have to play against double controller. That extra level, that extra height that you can get over these walls when you're trying to section onto the attack. On a map like Pearl right now, I mean, it's kind of like an icebox these days, you know? Just like get into B, plant, section the side off, play pulse plan, start spraying. It just becomes now that cohesion, the protocols that BCJ talked about before. Who steps up to the plate this time around? Sentinels, again, trailing behind by 1 in the series.
And that's been a big ask of Zekken lately, right?
Yep.
And can Zekken step up now, being able to focus on this duelist role, everyone behind him, facilitating Zekken with that utility. We'll get to see that Demon 1 matchup versus here on Pearl as they start off. A little bit of Harbor mid control, but it doesn't deter EG. They want to play right towards it. Retake onto A for Sentinels here, and you can see the pings going straight up that art area. So EG know their plan to go and plant. We'll see where the plant spot is and how this affects Calm. Maybe it's going to be planted for him and post-plant util here, but Calm's just making sure that A main is clear, and we're going to get a full Sentinels retake.
Something that EG loves to do here. Getting control towards art, using the Harbor to get the high tide, crossing off the A site and get the plant. And as they push forward, it's actually still EG that's holding it down for a bit.
Again, the frenzies, Vansili.
Yeah.
Again, the frenzies.
This time with Ethan too. Advantage comes out now for the attack. Tap onto the spike. And the Ghost is being shot from A main. Boostio runs through, but at least gets the info. Nobody on the spike yet as the Cloudburst comes out. Pankata falls, and both players can now close in. 6 HP left onto Zekken on a 2 versus 1. And you're just playing the patient game. EG looking to seal the faith unless Zekken gets an ace here. Activating onto the Cloudburst, but it's still Calm with the kill, and EG with the pistol.
Zekken getting to the plate, stepping up to the plate. Almost the ace, Vansili. 4 kills on that round for Zekken as we ask for it. And he is taken down in the end. Tall task there to be able to defuse and get that amount of pressure taken care of. Calm comes up with a kill. EG come up with another pistol round. They add to the stats once again, and they took off once they got pistol round on Fracture. We'll see if Sentinels can keep him at bay this time. It is going to be a Marshall buy there for Zekken since he did get the 4K. He'll spend a little bit of that money. This A push is going to start with the spike down, and Sentinels are kind of moving this death ball around a little bit. It looks like we'll see Saucy and Death moving around together throughout the map pretty consistently. They like to play this combo together, so keep an eye out for that. And the slow push from EG will continue on A.
Exactly. EG trying to find out where this Marshall could be. It's actually posted up now in B site for Sentinels. That's where Zekken's holding it off, and that's the other execution once again, this time from the A main, sectioning out towards Art and towards Flower Pot. And nobody to greet EG into the round. Safe plant, easy one as well.
Spike planted.
But there's one hiding in the mound. It's Pankata.
Oof.
Overloaded by utility, and 2 other players are falling in towards Flower Pots. The last 2 players from Sentinels were waiting here towards the B site, rotating across. And it's looking to be a pretty clean flawless so far for EG.
Thought Sentinels might have had a bit of a reflank there coming around from B, but both players do decide to go back through spawn, and we see the last one here, Marv. Maybe a shot? Maybe a pixel? No, a Demon 1 now getting 3, which adds to the Blade Storm coming up faster as well. Ethan's pretty close to his ult as well. So EG really looking to start this off. And you got to think Zekken's 1 away too. So we could get some very, very early ultimates. Oh, the smoke kills don't stop, we see. From one map to the next, a few more going through these walls. It's the setup towards A to start here. That quick harbor, high tide, and a guiding light most likely.
She's sharp.
See if they can deny a push here on this A orb. They think Zekken might be getting that ultimate. Quick 1-2. I wonder if they deny the orb themselves, right? Not too much mid play this game. We'll have to see which team decides to go for that first. Usually it's the defense harbor wall coming up. As Zekken will start off with the first one, and he does get Demon 1 down. That's a big frag and confidence for him and for the team to start off here in this bonus.
That was a good flash by Saucy to get the info onto the B-Link.
Just caught him.
Sentinels are also playing very passive info. Look at that alarm bot all the way down towards the Fender spawn. Turret up towards Art. That's going to sound the alarm for Sentinels to get ready. Knowing now that there's potentially a split into A. EG just looking to play the contact first, and as the site's clear, now it comes to full execution. Ethan off that frag gets the Seekers. It's going to get info off the players into spawn. Nobody watching, nobody rotating, and nobody flanking from Sentinels. All of them are moving in from spawn.
Dog-eat-dog world out there.
Second once again leading the charge. Clearing up the space into the retake of the A side. Joggimo playing very close. They are on a bonus, trying to play with the Spectre, dancing it around, and the vulnerable building onto depth. Gets the kill. Info on the left. Onto the right as well. And that gives enough time for the rest of EG just to play the pulse plant pretty much. Denies here off the nano swarms. It's going to be a triple swing. Players waiting on the other end, and it's still Pankata and Zekin. Get the last kill. 1 versus 1 against Com. As the protocols were there for both of the teams, just dependent to see who's going to win those duels, and it's going to be Sentinels.
And for this map, Sentinels do change it up. They get that bonus for themselves, and it is Zekin to do it. The confidence continues to ring out from the duelist for Sentinels, and they need rounds now. That blade storm's up. He might even get a drop towards somebody. No, just regular buy. You can see his credit spent. But it is going to be another gun round here for the side of Evil Geniuses. They set up towards A. A lot of B main push from Sentinels has allowed them to understand priority towards A can be a simple setup. They can wait for EG's utility and don't have to wonder what's going on. You already see they're almost set up to push B main once again. It looks like they'll pull off this time as we watch EG go for A. That's reckoning up. And Zekin will actually be rotating pretty quick here. He's going to try to be all over the map to be where EG's activating, but they are able to route around Zekin, and they're choosing to gamble for B. This will be one of the first B hits.
It's quiet so far. The jump spots from Saucy at the tail front of the B site. Tail end of the B site, and flashes to find info towards the B link. Still nothing yet, and finally off the third jump. The contact to come in, the reckoning to come out of Joggimo into the B site.
Cove out.
Safe plant.
Yep. Well, they've identified a lot of players just by shooting, actually, so EG should have a good idea of how this site is going to be retaken, or taken back by Sentinels.
And another duel from Zekin 1 against Demon 1. Saucy looking to flash deep into site to allow Zekin to move in. Counter flash out from Ethan, who gets the kill back. Nicely done as he's still holding the back lines. Def looking to go for that flank. Looking to pinch, but he gets sprayed. Another kill through the smoke. And nothing seems to be working here for Sentinels. There's no cover, no safety behind any of these smokes so far in this series. As Pankata at least trying to do a little bit of damage before he escapes, but it's still going to be the round for EG.
That's crazy, Vansilli. These smoke spams, anytime this is happening in a game, I'm like, all right, I'm standing in the hot zone too much. Where the spam's coming down, the angle, the timing, just change everything you're doing. Just, I don't know, switch hands. That's so wild that they keep getting spammed like that, and you really can't have a rebuttal. You know, maybe that's the util that was going to cut a back haul. It gets spammed down. You know, things are just getting stopped in their tracks for Sentinels right now. No way to come up with a plan when that happens. 3-1 now. As Evil Geniuses do not let that bonus go any further than 1 defuse round for Sent.
Let's go.
And they're back onto a low buy. Pankata does have a Phantom for himself and a few bits of armor, but they're piecing together what they can to know they can buy next round. It looks tough. It looks like EG can just pick them apart whenever they want with the way these rounds are going. Long B push once again. Just going to be Zekin this time.
With the Marshal 2 just looking to fight. Trying to escape, staying alive in the back of the site. And finally his teammates beat up. No matter what, still a plant coming in for EG. I like it. From a cove into a poison orb, just making sure that Joggimo can get the plant and fall back. Pankata with that save rifle, though, opens up the round. Ethan the fall. So no backline defenders in the B site. All of EG looking to play the post plant. First nanostorm to come out, second one being thrown down, but shot right away. So that's less delays now for EG. Now time for the bloodbath. Poison orb into the snake bite. Nobody can actually get into the defuse so far for Sentinels. You can definitely see it right here as the high tide comes down. Still, as we have nobody onto the spike. A round's gonna come in for the evil geniuses as Busio adds up 4 kills into the round.
You can see Calm there. It's kind of like, what is happening right now? Gets the classic kill on the end of that one. They still had safety with one more player anyways. But these harbor walls, so neat to start cutting things off, pressuring Sentinels to have to push forward there. And it does not make it easy for the retake when you're bundled up like that.
Yeah.
Here's a big buy now. Operator coming out for Zekin. Ultimates for Sentinels.
Just to add into the high tide of what they're doing there on that pulse plan, it's so hard for the defenders to get through that wall to fight back too, so...
You've already tried to use your util to get into sight.
Exactly.
They got to use it to take B long back. It's the layers that come into taking B there do become difficult, even though it's the main strategy we see. You're still able to drain your opponent of utility. A hit here, already very close up for the lockdown. Blade Storm for EG as well. As they try to put the pressure onto Sentinels. Viper's Pit goes down as well. Remember, we have an operator in this round too, Vansily.
The thing is with the pit, there's still the front of that pit to be able to plant.
Def?
Yeah, still gets the wallbang kill onto Busio. One player did get locked down, but it's still going to be safe. Spraying back once again with the Phantoms through the pit, through the high tides.
And you mentioned it, it's kind of a neat pit. Leaving the plant space open as Reckoning comes out, it almost allows Sentinels to get forward and use that util a lot closer.
Ooh. Zekin just got to pick off Calm, trying to get the lurk into B site. If that was possible, EG would rotate out that area. And with that flash,
great find.
Players can get ready in the front of the site, and that's player right here. Def looking for the third.
Left.
Stopped by Demon 1.
Down A.
4 versus 1, 25 seconds left on the clock. Rifle and Blade Storm available.
I got the spike.
Marv with the spray, swinging out, and will get the kill. The hold still matches to work for Sentinels, despite a very interesting Viper's Pit that went towards the A site.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. Lately, I feel like Viper's Pit allows a team all the space they want to encroach back into a position there because you have the ability to get on each side and then take it.
Yep.
There, Sentinels get the chance to stay just outside and quickly pop flash through the smoke, be in the face of EG. Really neatly played there, and it actually stops EG from getting themselves fully onto the site in a secure way. 2-4 here as we get into round 7. Sentinel's able to stop the bleeding a little faster here, show a little bit more gusto on Pearl, but it looks like EG still has the upper hand as of now. That operator still in play, and we said it would be tough for a last round win. Didn't even matter. They didn't need Zekin for that. So Sentinels is really getting their defense on par now with what happens for EG's attacks.
With an op in hand for Zekin, usually an op in jet, you're thinking about lockdowns towards the lane of B-Long, towards A entrance. But Sentinels did do their homework, knowing that EG likes to look for this pressure into Art. That's where they're holding the op there.
Jogamo get Reckoning? Very much so. They've had a lot to get themselves in these sites, and B position is ready for a Reckoning. Also, A is outside of sight, so Sentinel's just thinking about this. Oh, it's used at mid?
That's Calm with a nice little kill. And it's used towards mid to allow EG, there you go, to get that arc control instead. What? Calm still gets a second kill as Marv looks for the lurk, looks for the retake, looks for the flank, and gets denied.
30 seconds
And that gives an opportunity for Calm to get his own lurk while the rest of EG are looking for the plant, which will be successful in the A site.
Spike planted.
Really clean thought here by the side of EG to grab the orb. Jogamo with a shot, traded back by Saucy though.
With a knob picked up, and this was a slightly lower buy they have for the attack of EG. Battle and a save. As both Brazilians once again as Sentinels looking to play the retake. 3 versus 2 to start to a 3 versus 0. Nothing here that Sentinels could do as they still had that lurk from EG in the back spawn.
EG playing the map beautifully there. It is identifiable by Sentinels or by your opponent when you grab the alt orb and where that might go, right? It would go onto Jogamo. Already nobody was in sight considering that's a possibility. EG then uses Reckoning outside the site, exactly where Sentinels is, identifying that it would be passive play on defense. Just like I said, one step ahead, creating these rounds for themselves, and it will be a timeout called now.
What can you really do at this point now, Riv? Sentinels, I mean, they've been burning out timeouts after timeouts from the first map to the second.
Yeah.
And even trying to fight towards that mid control and trying to get that up there, trying to get the first pick, it still doesn't work out for them.
I'm pretty sure last time Sentinels called a timeout, EG like pushed every extremity of Fracture, right? One of the first ones. So I don't know if EG are using this time as well to say, be aware or be ready. Demon 1 with that operator still. We will see low armor now being favored for that purchase for money saves on the side of Sentinels. Saving a bit of cash to get into next round, knowing this is going to be tough. Whether or not they're making it out of this alive, they're losing numbers. So any way they can get themselves back into economy and back into having more util, the low buy is one of those.
I like that call, actually, from that operator in the hands of Demon 1. That was the op that was picked up and left behind by Zekin when he got dropped on that previous round. You saw Joggamo pick it up. And off this timeout, EG wants to find an opportunity. How can you use this op on the attack? He's posted up to work towards B-Long.
Yeah. Not much pressure on B-Long at all. So this may be one of the first looks they're going to be taking. Thinking Sentinels might usually push this area. It's just a hold for Demon 1. So they don't want to show really that they, where that op is, I should say, either. They know they have an op, but where it is a question.
You might find that out very soon.
A little bit of B pressure finally coming in here from Boostio. Gonna go through Link as, oh, the dog takes the shot. Demon 1 gets the same.
He's had some support. Instant trade as Zekin falls, so both duelists now down. Heal coming out on the attack for Ethan, as that might initiate the push for EG to plow towards his B site. Gap towards the Cascade. A big gap, actually. So you have to choose the Trailblazer, but it gets stopped by the snake bite from Com. So an indirect trade, and now a plant inside, a lot of utility for EG. The thickest one being the pit. Dropped down here by Com.
Oh.
Pushed back by a lockdown, though, from Pancata. Trying to clear towards the backside as Joggimo's still out there behind the screens.
Deja vu.
Doesn't even matter if this pit comes down. Now it's a 2 versus 1. Def, all of the utilities still available. Tap onto the spike, trying to swing out.
Oh.
Just gonna look for the second tap.
That's a lot of distance. It's hard to tap which way somebody's planning on this one. They do find him.
I mean, it's just still EG. That's been the storyline so far, Riv. Trying to spam through smoke. I don't think these guys gonna miss today.
That's gonna be the one they missed? Never, never. I mean, Joggamo, I feel like he is just copy-paste from last week. Coming out of that A-hall, or coming out of that back halls area, whether he's in his cove, whether he's not, multi-kill round after multi-kill round. Ethan here as well. We already talked about him today, but we're still going to. Yeah, much more of a personal step up from everybody here. Is obviously making the whole team look better as EG is playing immaculate right now. A little bit of A pressure. This could be an orb for Def. They will grab a Reckoning once they get control. And it's the first time Sentinels has really flexed their muscles in the beginning of a round to show EG that they're taking a portion of the map. Mid's been open. A main's not controlled. B has been pushed a few times.
Yep.
But EG, they've kind of had free reign of the map and then easy execute for them.
You're right. The only positive thing towards that B-Long was that 1v1 a few rounds ago between Zekin and Demon 1, which worked the second time around. Still a first blood for Zekin, but EG had support that time around to fight back. So pushing more players towards the A site works out for EG to push now towards mid instead. It allows Marv to get the pick off the Stinger.
Still a full hold on A. Traded back right down B-Link.
That's open now for B.
Yeah, I wonder if Marv tries to get this weapon.
You move.
Oh. Joggamo is just jumping in circles as he goes down to make sure he's still covered with utility out. Like, the brain continues to grow.
Snakebite on the ground to even flush him out. He just gets a drive-by with the Phantom. But Sentinels already looking to push back. Zekin love tap through the smoke. He gets fully blinded by the flash of Ethan. Second flash coming out, still gets the kill.
Beautiful.
With the Stinger now weaponed, looking to get picked up. 3 players still alive for Sentinels that are moving in now. Joggamo playing just on the other side of the high tide. And once again, a kill, 2 kills through smokes.
What is this?
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
map 1 was what? The storyline of stick the fuses for EG on a defense, and map 2 now just kills through smokes.
And map 2 could be very much the same scoreline of a 9-3 here, or even worse for the side of Sentinels, and better for EG if they continue this. Sentinels is only able to string, not even string, get one round, and then it instantly back in Evil Genius's favor. They push, they figure it out, they wait for Sentinels to make a mistake and string a few of their own together on the side of Evil Geniuses. It's definitely not a way that it can allow you to win a game if EG continues to pick up 3 for your 1. It's almost like the old Looney Tunes. 1 for me, 1 for you. 1, 2 for me, 2 for you. It's not how it works. See the push towards mid. EG finally gaining a bit of that ground. It looks like it will end B here, but they're still going to feel out the map and see what Sentinels has first.
At least both. Players on the side of Sentinels are greeted up by a third player. That's Def rotating across for 3 players out there. And for EG at the beginning of the round was just a lot of noise at the top. Get that orb to allow the Seekers to be available for Ethan.
I've got your trail.
He's going to use that right now to continue to fake towards the B site. All of EG walking towards A for a split there. But Sentinels read into this. But it's a fake after fake. A double pump, actually.
Around the world.
Op still up, though, towards that long B.
Let's see how late they put this wall up.
30 seconds left.
Fuel first. Fuel down, wall up, so they don't double and use that gas utility, but they're gonna meet Saucy right here. Ethan takes him out. Great trade, great teamwork.
Zekin!
They needed one of those.
At least the Reckoning comes out now for the defense. Lucio has to stick onto that plan, getting stunned. 1 for 1,
Makes
but
it
the
out.
advantage out for EG still does make it out indeed.
3v2.
As EG still has a crossfire set up. Nothing could be done now. History repeats. Pencat on a 3 versus 1. Stopped by Demon 1. And EG with a convincing post plant.
Wow. Flying in, even able to repair the fact that Zekin gets an op shot on the planter. Reckoning comes out, doesn't matter, planting that.
Spike planted.
Just get splashed by a little bit of water. Don't worry about it. Team's there to help you. And the comms there have to be great as well. Keep planting, keep planting. You're safe, right? We have you. Yeah, EG is definitely making that work too.
Here.
Round 11. 2 rounds for Sentinels. They look to take a little bit of A main control once again to start. Just a bit of an idea on another low buy round for them. And EG has had trouble with anti-ecos, but it looks like they are just standing strong on these rounds. Demon 1 with the operator again as they play it slow, wait for a peek. Even with this lead, EG is still playing these rounds slow.
Oh, yeah.
With another kill.
Still shows the respect now that EG has against Sentinels. Trying to read the perfect way of working this map. Is there a stack from Sentinels somewhere? This first blood, you really want to try to push it. Look at all these pings. And on Sentinel's side, you were hoping at least, look at Zekin at this point now with that stinger, but he had a Blade Storm ready on that previous round, invested into an operator. You thought hopefully he would be able to carry it over into this round here should they lose the round. But Sentinels did have an opportunity to retake the play on a 3 versus 2 or a 2 versus 3 disadvantage. So he doesn't have the Blade Storm this time around. But at least he's holding towards the back of the site with this stinger. Wall to come up on the defense just to run that clock down if they can.
Left.
Ethan does have a flash if they want to use it through the screen. Especially with this high tide that comes out on the defense now. Crossfire is now being set up, and there's that kill with that stinger from Zekin. 12 seconds left on the clock. Death's looking to make the
10
play.
seconds left.
Got
He
it down.
did have the support inside that code.
4v3.
Zekin towards the back. Still once again with that battle. Done a good job, but this time around, it's being forfeited. Joggerbo can get this flank. Not even needed. Calm was already there, and that's EG now at 9-2. And look at the smiles across the faces of these players.
You can see how well it's clicking. and what that means for these strategies. They didn't even need the full squad to take the site here. They know that. You have this almost double flank coming in. Obviously, Joggo's back hall because site take, but the way they're able to just enter that crossfire, seamless. And that has been the name of the game for EG this entire series. Sentinels now calling a timeout. We do see that there was an operator in Zekin's hand here for the last round. Down to 0 credits, straight to the pocket lint for this buy. Let's see if it works out for him to, again, like we said, this could be another 9-3 here, just like first map. Could be a 10-2 as well.
And you see Potter, she's just agreeing. So at this point, remember those comms that came out before where comm had one of those rounds like, hey, let me call, let me, I have something cooked up, I have something I could plan out, and it worked out for a round that they got. And Potter seems for today, giving a lot of confidence into her players. So you could just take the reign into the game, understanding the main game plan and what they wanted to come up against Sentinels. And it's been working out so far.
EG has just been so versatile, it seems. Not versatile, but more set in their roles and able to play a versatile style with now having Demon 1. How comfortable everybody is, the kind of plays they're making, their confidence to push up. You see the operator still going from multiple hands on this team as they can switch it up like an old Cloud9 of old with Mitch and players. So yeah, it doesn't know, haven't seen too much of EG with what they show you each week. It's always different, right? Whether they play trap plays, whether they're playing retake now. Seems like they're really fluid now with this solid team. 9-2, like we said, Zekin has that operator. Oh, he did not, actually. He decides to not go for it. He switches it up.
Yeah. Sentinels just wants to fight into the A main. It's a 1-for-1. And once again, both duelists instantly fall in the early rounds in the first contact. Took a lot of time before the first execution came in for the map control attempt. It's still a stalemate. 4 versus 4. Trailblazers are coming out, and even a high tide early. Should I say that's a cascade to block off towards the art? EG are just cutting noise for a late re-hit.
Poison's off.
Play a little contact. This is the first time we've seen EG play contact.
The orb now being picked up too. Seekers coming out on the defense, but the orb picked up on the attack allows the Reckoning to be available for EG.
One more Seeker. Cabbage mid. All right, we rotate back around. This is a pretty easy defense for Sen. They're round to lose. 3 should be locked up here for Sentinels as we move into the second half. And all 3 members of Evil Geniuses now guiding light towards B. This is going to be up to Pencata to start.
It's 17 seconds left on the clock. Pencata maybe could try to find some sort of timing. The Cove comes out, trying to get the spray. And that's what they were talking about at the desk before. Trying to spray, trying to deny the plant, but you get stunned there by the ult of the Reckoning.
Yeah, you can't stand still for too long, but damned if you didn't try, right? All right, they're pushing towards B-Link. Double B-Link.
That's what Sentinel's trying to do. Trying to go for the retake. But Snakebite into the spawn, delaying a little bit more. Joggermo gets it on a 3 versus 3.
This crossfire is incredible.
The crossfire for EG. Gives the advantage by 1. Sasi leading out towards the heavens, and the high-low doesn't work out. It's not a 9-3 curse. It's EG in the lead, 10-2.
They set up like a Tetris piece. Just at the 3 corners. That was impossible for anybody to get into that site. Like I said, Vansili, answers to everything. It's wild.
Well, now it's time to pass it over to Diane Dryad, who has an interview with one of my favorite graphic artists, Disguised Toast.
One of my favorite graphic artists too, and I'm over here with this guy Toast. He's having a co-stream right here in the arena. Toast, is the second time that you're here. How are you feeling for the arena? How are you feeling for the match? Are you surprised about the score?
Very surprised. I know like Sentinel's been trending down and EG's been trending up, but this has been a really dominant performance by EG.
We're expecting at least those 3 maps. I mean, there's still a chance.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go 2-0 Sentinels, but at this point, I'm going to switch sides and root for EG.
Just in time.
Just in time.
Just in time. Okay, and now let's talk about DSG. So this is your team. We've seen a couple of very close performances at Challengers with this team, and we saw a tweet as well. So talk us through kind of what has been going on with that team.
Yeah, so the team, the performance hasn't been so great, but we've had like a lot of close games. Like we lost like 1-2 this week. We lost 1-2 last week,
Yeah.
and I think the team is like struggling a little bit, but everyone's still very confident, like keeping their head down, trying their best. And I will say, like, we find very cool ways to lose rounds. I think we're one of
I remember that one.
the 1v5 eco diffuse, and
Yeah.
you can't even be mad about that.
Things that happen, you know, it's content for sure. So just for the next matches that you guys have is going to be kind of what are the hopes really, really quickly and how it's going to go for you?
We're up against like two of the better teams in our group, and it's the two
Yeah.
teams we played the most that 4-0'd us combined the last split. M80 TSM, so we played M80 TSM, M80 TSM. It was lost. But if there's a time to get a revenge game, it would be next
It's
week.
gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be those 2 weeks. We gotta see. We're definitely cheering for DSG. Definitely, you guys also watch challenges as we throw it back to the casters for the second half of map 2.
Thank you, Dan in Disguise Toast. And indeed, if you've missed that Ninja Diffuse chat, the 5 versus 1 that we're able to get, or unfortunately DSG had to suffer on split, make sure you watch that VOD. If not, also make sure you watch the live games for NA Challengers happening during the week. Well, we had the VCTs over the weekend, and as Toast was mentioned before, the team has to keep their head down and keep working, just like Sentinels has to do right now in this half right here. Backs against the wall, trailing behind by 8 rounds to try to tie things up against EG. And this is their last hope, last hurrah here.
Big pistol round. Already we're gonna get activated dash from Demon 1 to see if he can get out of this situation. No, he doesn't even activate it. Stone cold. I feel like he could smoke and get out in most situations.
Exactly.
All the way down to B for Sentinels. They're not gonna waste any time. Actually, quite a fast round for them. Because they only took a little bit of time there in spawn, and we're gonna get a quick plant here. Cove plant middle. Okay, I thought he was going for side plant for a second. So plant out in the open. 2 push towards Hall. Pretty default setup here for post plant.
Let's try to look at these protocols now for EG. High tide available. Trailblazer to clear towards the back of the site.
that hit.
2 players falling behind. Yes, a couple of them are dazed. And we're pitching towards the front too.
my gosh.
Flash behind the high tide. Cove up. And now EG's looking for the defuse. Nothing so far that Cells could do. At least a kill. A second one from Penkata. That's a spike though. Not yet a halfway. Penkata gets the 3rd kill. A 2 versus 2. Can he actually get it done? 4th headshot onto Takamo. A 1 versus 1. He gets the ace. And a save for Sentinels.
One of the cleanest aces this season of VALORANT Americas coming out from Penkata. Let's see it again.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Last player standing.
Dude, off the reload, head to head,
remaining.
no obstacles.
Thank you, chef. Thank you. Thank you. That will not be a pistol round for Evil Geniuses.
Nope.
If Penkata has anything and everything to say about it.
I could definitely see the chat. 10-2 is a new 9-3.
Yeah, after that, we'll have to see what kind of pressure they can keep up. It's going to be the triple Bulldog buy here. If they can get through this round, FPX buy for 3rd, they could be really well set.
At least
Yes.
for EG, who was looking to do something there. Some sort of trap play, aggression out, and that's the beauty of the Jet. The updraft over the high tide for the last kill. And that's a clean, flawless. Really running behind that ace, the momentum that's built up by Penkata.
Awesome stuff.
One enemy remaining.
FPX buy into the round, get themselves some Bulldogs, see if they upgrade here to the 2 rifle, 3 Bulldog next round. Or if they decide to stick. Actually, Zekken's gonna feel fine on this Stinger, actually. Build up that money, make it more possible to get an operator in the later rounds. Why spend if you don't have to? Where are they going? 3-2 split to start off. Kind of more of a default, rather. Just to feel out the map. Spike is down by shops right now, and it is a push-up here. Demon 1 again. So he feels confident to almost take up towards Pillar almost every round now. Super focused here to try and get himself a frag and get out in time.
Yep. Has the utility for that escapability. Turning away from the flash to start.
Oh, he's looking for help here.
Definitely
Gonna
heard a
get
couple of
util help.
footsteps.
That cascade could allow him to get left
Being
side.
clear. First kill. But then Zekin answers back with the stinger. Jogamo now forfeiting his position out towards B. Delaying with the second cascade, waiting for the rotate to come out from his teammates. Meanwhile, though, for Sentinels, opening up towards this B site. Behind a Trailblazer as Marv doesn't check his corner. Gets punished by Bucio. Rainbow looking for a timing off this flash!
Again!
It's beautiful for the guy! Kills into the round! And EG answered back in their gun round.
I wish we could honestly get a replay of their Pearl game last week. It is the exact same play without a cove. What the heck? He cannot be stopped in that position. I'm gonna start calling this Jogamo.
Enemy remaining.
Oh my gosh. Like I said, the multi-kills that EG are able to pick up, and they're not exactly round saving. It's not like, oh my God, he needed to do that. But they're just doing that anyways, right? There was still cavalry to come on that play, the site to be taken. But it is just EG able to stop Sentinels in their tracks again, time after time.
You got me. And that's how you answer back for the Evil Geniuses. Thankfully, though, for Sentinels, it was a bonus round now. Able to still invest into a rifle round this time around. Breaking utility to start things off. Flash to find information. It's going to be Ethan allowing Bucio to peek out. But Sentinels decided to fall back for a bit. You still see Penkata watching for a long A push. But EG's taking that opportunity to move forward. Second on the first, stopped immediately by Ethan. Deft, the second one in line. Does get the dink onto Demon 1, but they fall back for the heal, and EG gets the opportunity with the player advantage for this round.
I think that might be the first bit of mid fight we actually have seen this entire map.
You're right.
Everything's to A, everything like that. They've gone art, but we haven't seen the mid fights yet. Another frag going down there as I blabber on about mid. Here we go. Here we go through art. And they're trying to focus up. We actually saw Killjoy utility just pulled back, so EG realizes this is moving pretty quick towards the other side of the map.
And Turi got refreshed, placed towards the flower pots.
Exactly.
But Death's still alive, so they have the high tide. That's not going to get too much information. And on the attack, too, it's Penkata with the lockdown early into the second half. Sentinels does get the plant. EG have to wait for the lockdown to finish. Flash available for Ethan. Gonna throw it through the high tide as they peek through. But there's still util onto that spike. One nano swarm. Left behind Snakebite towards the back of the site. And the second Snakebite already comes down because the alarm bot got stopped. Demon watching that flank, getting the first kill onto Sasi. Last three players of Sentinels are playing towards long A. There's that second nano stop once again. And it's up to the trades to come out. But it's just EG too strong. EG now at map and series point 4-12. 4-12, Riv.
Vans, we came into this series saying even like the Leviathan game was great, but looking at the Loud game and the Furia game for Evil Geniuses, they were they almost 2-0'd Loud, by the way, and were 3 rounds away from beating Furia as well. Not the signs of an 8th place team, and I think they have found the way, the identity of how to play this squad. I mean, look at Jogamo now, from Raze to a controller from map to map, and he is absolutely slamming. 16-11. Really
That's
great stuff.
The beauty of it, to see strong duelists play into these controller roles. Think about Jacob C9, think about Tui's going into Loud, but think about Second's kill onto Demon 1. And that's a reckoning from both ends. But will it end right here for Sentinels? So far, Calm answers back, evening up the tally on a 4 versus 4. Second still looking for the hero play. Headshot onto Ethan, and that's no flashes for the retake, and that's always been very important for the Evil Geniuses. And that might be a disciplined play for EG at this point.
Yeah.
Cutting their losses.
Okay.
Using the rifles into the next round.
Yeah, actually, Demon 1 on 0. They've been going pretty hard on spending because of the situation. They have the rounds to play with. There's no problem in that. Saucy looking to get a little more safety in this positioning, and they'll get themselves out. So another round here for Sentinels. Not yet pushing Evil Geniuses at all, but they do have the operator for Zekin. That was a very big round for him to open up above the clouds of the gas and then take down Demon. So this could be a bit of a switch. This might slow them down, though. with the operator, you almost want to see if that pick can happen first. They do have Saucy very close to Seekers, so they may be able to get that. And they may find a Blade Storm of their own on the other side after this timeout because Demon 1 got his on that death. Marv is pretty icy.
And congratulations for hitting bronze 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
I actually saw another sign too. I think it was a happy birthday to Danger Zone, by the way. So happy birthday, Danger Zone in the crowd.
Oh, snap. Okay. Okay.
Nobody's gonna cheer for his birthday? But yes, let's talk about this timeout. A very important one too. These have been moments now for EG where, you know, they've had leads, they've won maps, they've got dominant against Loud a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And then it comes down to these moments where you're almost at the finish line, but then you're getting like, okay, let's play it. Okay, it's only 1 round.
Right.
We still have 8 rounds.
What's stopping you from
7
closing
rounds.
it out?
Exactly.
You have so many chances.
So off this timeout for Potter, is it going to be one of those plays, hey, let's not play for the win, let's just play aggressive, play against Sentinels, instead of playing the protocols of the retakes. They might have an opportunity now because of the Blade Storms. The Blade Storm, sorry, that's available for Demon 1. Rifles for the rest, and a Bulldog for Ethan.
The push-up too. EG playing that. This is where Demon 1 has played a bunch. Now he has the help of Jogamo, so they're giving him the Cascade as well to move forward with and escape a little better with, because I feel like Demon 1's been perfectly okay with doing a one and done in that situation. Here they want him alive. They want the refresh Blade Storm and a kill. Push towards A. Remember, this is an ultimate for Saucy. These are Seekers coming up.
Toxin screen down.
Ethan's also on that, so fighting for this A orb right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Trailblazer out.
There was no information off the flash from Ethan that was probably going to be his orb, but it's Sentinels to take instead.
My ult's ready.
All right, cabbages away. Let's see how they retake this.
It's quiet.
It's very default for EG. So Sentinels, they have the chance to set up and create a very strong post plant here. Even a little bit of scaling if they can get a kill onto Com in the back there.
Zekin's posted up there towards that pit. Sentinels looking to play the contact and it work out. Delays now coming out for EG, and Com somehow gets 2 kills through the smoke. The high tide that was placed behind by Death. Now Saucy onto the tap. Com looking for the wall bang. But again, that's not gonna work here when there's a cold that was still up, the plant to come through. And a snake bite to delay, but it misses. Time for EG to play the retake. Pancata's now spotted towards the arc. Pancata with the kill onto Demon 1, but gets traded off by Busio. It's all up to Saucy. Make that it's all up to Death. A 4 versus 1. The Cascade to block the vision, and EG to win the series.
EG claim victory over their first North American team. They've been having trouble doing it, and they're able to find that win here over Sentinels pretty convincingly. In a 13-6 and a 13-5 fracture to Pearl. Absolutely incredible play across the squad. You're seeing Demon 1 still able to step up. Ethan coming back to being Ethan. Giving us a bit of that lock-in play once again. And everybody on the board, honestly. Com was asked to step up, stepped up. Playing between the Sova, the Viper as well, and Jogamo. He must have had 2 or 3 3Ks this game. I can't. You can't forget Pancata's ace this game, though. That was beautiful.
EG definitely does have the family buff today, but I think it's not only about the family buff. It's to see how EG's been playing throughout the weeks, right? Coming up with ways to cook up with the wingman, with the Gecko, and then suddenly losing like a 13 almost to 0 against Loud. And sometimes those type of performances, those types of losses into certain maps really shines away from all the good things that EG has put together. Which why maybe it didn't look like it was supposed to be such a convincing victory from the eyes of a fan of Valorant watching this for the first time. Where suddenly, usually when you're seeing Sentinel's name, the tenure of this roster, it should be once again here, Riv, is the key word. An easy victory for Sentinels instead.
That's
but
right.
EG definitely fighting very, very strong in this series.
I think Evil Genius has worked a lot on the comfortability of how the players feel in-game.
Yeah.
Wow, how they're pushed and supported to play their role, to move forward, to do things on their own, but also ask for support. It looks like a whole lot of teamwork went into that game.
Yeah. Usually when we watch these games in the past few weeks, when we still had an opportunity to vote for an MVP, I think for today's MVP is also probably going to have to be the 6th, 7th, 8th player or whatnot for the smokes for EG, right? The amount of smokes that came down and the amount of smoke kills that they were able to get.
Yeah.
Just spraying with the Phantoms. Again, the Phantom supremacy, as we see week after week, a great way to counter up against double controller plays, not only on the Jet, but on the way that you want to use those rifles to fight off against the sectioning of the double controller plays.
Also, big consistency in Evil Genius's pistol rounds. We saw them thrashing with frenzies today. Like we said, the second highest pistol rate win percentage, and they show it here against Sentinels, but also carry through a bonus round on that first game. A lot of places where they would drop the ball before have been shored up for Evil Geniuses. And it looks like they did their homework against Sentinels too.
Yeah.
They had a game plan, but were also able to counter a game plan.
Yeah. And usually I've been hanging out in the watch parties over at Sliggy, and every time you see a map on Pearl, it's like, not Pearl again. But I think they have something to study here. They have something to look out forward to, and they have some new stuff coming out from EG of how they played that map. And it also comes down to the extra obstacles that always came out from Jogmill, right? You talk about how they play behind the smokes. That cove adds that extra place of utility that he could fight from anywhere that he wants. But that's enough from us here at the front desk. We'll send it to the analyst desk to see how they want to break down the series.
Thanks very much, Vance. Yeah, it was a dominant game for EG. 2-0 victory to bring them now 3-4 in the standings. Still a real chance of making playoffs in this one, Mel. And it seems like for the first time, all the pieces are starting to click for this EG squad.
It was a convincing win for EG against an opponent with Sentinels, with players on that team that have won world championships. It's honestly incredible. Nothing to take away from EG. They played a phenomenal game. Sentinels barely got double digits across an entire series. It just can't be understated how well EG played. They played their own game. I really didn't feel like there was much like anti-stratting or a huge amount of prep. You just see them. Fundamentally, they were the better team in every way today.
You were building up how important the fundamentals would be in this game ahead of it, and that's really what brought them through. But on top of that, BCJ, they pivoted in their composition back to the more standard Harbor Viper, and it still looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to help them a ton. I mean, you look at those post plans, 10 out of 11. I mean, that's an insane number. Can't really dream for anything better than that on Pearl. So for them to get that scoreline, I mean, that's really hard to beat.
And the mid-rounding was good as well. This is one where they called a really interesting fake to win one of these late rounds, adding a bit more complexity to some of these calls.
Yeah, I really like this round. This was like a multi-stage fake. I think they started B, went towards A, through the harbor wall towards A, and walked all the way back to B. And there was only 2 players there, where originally there was 3. I think that's like one of the key moments where I think you might not see it often, but when they do it, it really works.
Yeah, for this team, it is those late rounds that have continued to improve each and every week. But a player who has really been stepping up for the squad as well has been Calm, who throughout that series just looked so incredibly confident on both of his roles, be it the Sova or that Viper.
You know, Brenton, you brought up pop-offs, and Calm is here, bro. He came up, he came to play. His lurks were incredible. His util usage, the stats don't reflect it as much. His darts on Fracture were insane. The amount of, wall bangs and wall hacks I got for like players like Ethan to span through smokes. Like his util across the series has been great, and his lurks on Pearl just through the back line and then breaking the pieces of util, like the Sensi util, to set him up for those lurks, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin played insane today. I mean, on attack on Pearl specifically was where I was looking. His Viper play was looking masterful. The way he was using his util for off his teammates, getting the perfect timings in the flank, and then on the few post-plant rounds he had, I mean, just unreal from the Viper play. I mean, you can't really ask for much better than that.
The guy closed it out as well, and that's a tough one for Sentinels, as you can see up there on the wall. Probably a pretty brutal loss for all of their fans and for the players as well. They're now in a really tough position in the standings, 2-5, I believe. It feels like playoff hopes are kind of starting to strip away.
I think we all expected that match to go a lot more closer than it was. And for Sentinels, I can't imagine, being in their position right now. They must feel really hard on themselves, especially after last week, thinking they can bounce back, have a closer series against a team that was ranked, lower on the leaderboards than Cloud9 were in terms of NA teams. So it's a tough loss for sure. I think I saw Kaplan mention last week about energy issues and confidence in the match. So it's definitely something they're going to have to sit down and really talk about. If they really want to get into playoffs, it's these last 2 they need to secure.
Well, it's been a tough last few weeks for Sentinels, but for EG, that's now 2 wins in a row over Leviathan and just now over Sentinels, putting them in a pretty good position for the rest of the season. But to hear more about that match, we have Ethan standing by in our Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you so much, Mimi. I I'm on the floor with Evil Geniuses. Ethan, I'm getting smarter by standing here right now. It's incredible. I can feel it. Ethan, talk to me about these last few games that the team's played. It looks revitalized. The team's feeling good. What has kind of changed since what we saw in the beginning, besides the team itself?
Yeah, definitely getting really comfortable in our system and our style. It took us a little bit. It was a rough start, and you know, we're coming out hot on the first map now, so that's what we needed. We were starting off pretty slow before.
Was there a lot of countering going into today's game, or was this just EG's game moving forward and Sentinels fell into it and the trap?
Yeah, this was all just us, honestly, playing really well. I mean, there's them getting Marv back in. There's really not that much to counter. Just hope he doesn't play well, and you know, so.
And if we look at your games, even just behind those two, Loud, Furia, within 3 rounds, almost 2-0ing Loud, what do you think it was that kept the team at that point from closing out the games? What was plaguing Evil Geniuses?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we started off really hot, kind of lost steam on second map, and I think it was just like, I mean, 13-0, you know, after a couple of rounds, it starts creeping in, and they just ran off with it. It's a very momentum-based game, so they had momentum.
All right, a few more questions. What's the overall focus for Evil Geniuses when you guys are going into practice? You bring a new player in. You know, how do you fit Demon 1 in to make it just feel comfortable for everybody and keep the EG mentality going?
Yeah, so like I said, the system is there now. I mean, we have a Jet one trick who is also able to play Brim. But yeah, it's very good on Jet, and that's kind of what we needed for the team. So that's what we got.
Awesome. MIBR and Energy coming up. I know the answer is going to be will win, so who are you more excited to face?
Definitely Energy.
Why so?
Got to take them out. I think they're the top dogs right now. I got a lot of friends on that team, so hopefully it comes down to that's the game that gets us playoffs and them playoffs. It'll be important.
Awesome, Ethan. Thank you so much for the interview, everybody. Evil Geniuses taking the win over Sentinels. We do have another game coming up next. Don't go anywhere for VCT Americas.
With playoffs only weeks away, every match is do or die, and every single round counts. It's the Kings of Clout taking on NA's biggest underdog in EG versus Sentinels. Both these teams have playoff hopes on the line, and an important game in this one.
Jogging, but Elisa Trade comes out, sprays once again through the smoke, Ethan gets 2! Now Sentinels looking for the flank.
Oh my
just
God!
Ethan waiting there. Clear an advantage. Calm still inside of the site. Coming out, and the seals it in for EG as they win a convincing fracture to start off the series. Nobody can actually get into the defuse so far for Sentinels. And you can definitely see it right here as the high tide comes down. Still, as we have nobody onto the spike. A round's gonna come in for the Evil Geniuses as Brucio adds up 4 kills into the round. Can he actually get it done? Fourth headshot on the Giacomo. A 1 versus 1. He gets the ace. Rambo looking for a timing off this flash. Again, it's beautiful for the guy. Into the round. And EG to win the series.
EG claimed victory over their first North American team. They've been having trouble doing it, and they're able to find that win here over Sentinels pretty convincingly.